All right, everybody, welcome back into the Golden Tee Lounge. As always, Kevin Lindsay here for this week's Freaky Friday live stream. This week we have the GT Players Championship Freaky Friday. A little bit more difficult than some of the Freaky Fridays you might be used to. They're challenging but rewarding. Definitely scoreable after you watch a few different shots that we put together here for you. So, I've got my St. Patty's Day outfit going on right now. And you have until, I believe, the end of Sunday. If you go to the Livewire website or the GT Caddy mobile app, you pull up your caddy. There's a little, let's see if we can get that on there. There's a little sale icon on the top right there. Just click on that bad boy. For 99 cents, you get 10 different pieces of St. Patty's Day gear over the last 10 years of Golden Tee that we've designed for you. So a little bit of fun holiday celebration going on there. Charles, Justin, thanks for joining us. Let's pull up Twitch and YouTube. I know we've got some people hanging out there. I'm sure Danny Boy and a few others are there as well. So, Players Championship, a lot of courses you might not normally see in our Freaky Friday. Some you will, some you don't, but still some good ones. And let's get started. Same club set that you typically see me use here in these Freaky Fridays. 9.5 degree driver, 10.5 degree driver, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 wood, couple of irons with super spin, a couple of hybrids, and then of course grabber golf balls. Pretty straightforward hole here from, I believe, Eagle Crest to kick things off. Basically what you want to do here is don't hit the trees, grab a nice solid second shot into the green, and of course, putting it in or chipping it in for eagle. Leslie, Kirk, Zach, thanks for joining us. James Trudeau, Jed Beebe, Zach, appreciate the kind words. Hopefully after you've watched me play a few games, you still appreciate these live streams more than I think you will. But hopefully, I've only played one game so far today. Just wanted to get a little bit of a lay of the land. We've got our first Golden Tee 4 remastered course, Pine Meadow. This is, I believe, hole 2, drivable par 4 to kick things off on the drivable par 4 range. Pretty straightforward, easy shot. Just move that tee over to the left, take those trees out of play from the tee, and like that, boom, 4 after 2. Auburn Glen, I'm glad that this is only one of 2 Auburn Glen holes. A little bit more difficult than what you guys might have saw in the preview, but at least this time I'm hoping to put it on the green and not hit a tree and nearly avoid water. So this one, we are just trying to get on the green, hopefully stay on the green. Stop, yeah, huh? Perfect. Main thing here is you just want to get on the green. This is a little bit more of a putt than I wanted from the fringe, but still putting for eagle nonetheless, and boom. You take that Auburn Glen and you tell it to buzz off because you eagled it, you're walking away 6 after 3. Hopefully you guys are commenting more on Facebook than Twitch and YouTube, having a little bit of a technicality. It's not pulling it up, but Shady Acres, not everybody's favorite course. As you can see, I almost watered a very easy look on this par 4, but thankfully Adam was nice enough to choose a very relatively easy hole 5 of Shady Acres. Pretty easy setup here. Sparkling Waters, little long of a look here. I was actually hoping it would have something a little bit closer to the preview I gave you the other day, but nonetheless, still able to get that eagle. You just got to hit it with a little oomph so you get that 155 on the shot meter. And let's see. Now this is one of those where you just want to be careful because I normally have a 0 hybrid. This would be literally the only hole that I'd even attempt to use the 0 bird, but it's not needed. You just need to be able to kind of cut that 3-wood or the 10.5 degree driver. Don't trust getting that 3-wood under the trees. It probably gets there, but when you're like me, you try to make as little mistakes as possible. Boom, there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that 10.5 degree driver. I'm going to pull it back in between the BC, and I'm just going to cut it around those trees. Mainly just looking to get on the green or just go right at the tree. So, hole 5, sparkling hole 5, or hole 6, don't do that. See if we can have a little bit of chip magic for the live stream. Nope, things go downhill from here, but that's okay. That's why during these live streams, we play a few different games just to give you a couple different looks, and that was my preview of how to not play hole 5. And look at that, even with a bad round on hole 5, Sparkling Waters hole 6, still 8 after 5, which is nothing to be shy about. Beautiful, beautiful look here from Mystic. So happy that this is a nice, clean, straightforward look, and we're not trying to high tee anything over trees, excuse me. Got to be careful though, because if you hit that rock wall, you're most likely going into the water and chipping for birdie, or most likely putting in for par. So just be careful. That's why I use backspin. I figured this is a flat green. My putt is not going to break, so I don't have to worry about that as much. I can putt from 50 feet away and still feel comfortable getting an eagle. This is Eagle Crest drivable par 4. I opened my mouth in the preview and hoped that this would be an easier setup, but I did manage to do pretty well on this hole during my little preview game that I played right before live streaming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back from the sea. Now mind you, I'm looking dead straight at the water in the rough. So I'm not going right at the pin or right next to it. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm going to pull it back to the sea. And then I'm just going to hit it a little bit left of the 2. A little bit more than I wanted, actually. But the nice thing is I've got my rusty trusty 5 hybrid. And we're just going to... Oh, well, normally just jam it right up in there. But apparently the 5 hybrid was not a fan of mine today. So walking through the birdie, that's all right. The power of the live stream is that you just roll with the punches. But part of me is regretting that I did not stream my first game today because it was going a lot better than this. So we are now at Moose Landing. I believe this is hole 9 for Moose Landing. Want to make sure that you have a 6 and an 8 wood for this course, specifically for this par 5, because it is a lot easier to get an eagle on this hole, which is normally difficult to begin with, when you have those woods versus an iron or hybrid. Yes, Michael, it is exactly my role today. We are just finding some trees. Hole 9 here, not the drivable look that some of you I'm sure were waiting for, but what we're going to do is just take a 10.5 degree driver, just high tee it over there. Let's play it safe. This is a par 5, so you're going to walk away with an eagle most likely.
What a massive drive. Peter, what more can you tell us about the wind? The breeze is light and right at her.
Good old Pelican, though. All right, so 5 hybrid going in there. Just smooth, push forward. Now notice I didn't pull that back because I wanted, I was lined up with the pin where it was straight enough I could just go right at it and hope for the best. And walking away with a 6-foot eagle. Trying to pull up the Twitch and YouTube comments. I'm sure I'm missing a lot from Danny Boy's ears right now. The only par 3 you're going to see in this setup, I want to say this is Southern Oaks. Which hole is it? See, Southern Oaks, hole 12. So actually a pretty nice setup. I know if you don't play a lot or you're new to the game, you look at this and go, wow, top right pin and a wind blowing to the left. How do I make this work? And thankfully, hopefully, I don't screw it up too much. So what I did for this one is you want to play that wind to your advantage. So I'm going to pull back to the right corner of the A on the deck. And I'm just going to hit it straight. because I'm using that 5 wood, which I actually wanted the 6 and I wasn't paying attention. But the theory still goes the same. You're basically cutting into that wind. You're taking the trees out of play and playing that wind. Now, because I clubbed up incidentally and used the 5 wood, I didn't get as much of the wind as I wanted to with the 6 wood, but I made a good chip. Bill, I don't know, I can't say that there's actually any videos that show you how to chip and putt directly just because there's so many different ways. But whether you go to Golden Tee's YouTube channel or our Twitch or our Facebook or to Golden Tee TV's pages on social media, there's plenty of videos where you can watch live streams of the tournaments and see how guys putt. Some people use their thumbs to putt, some use their palms. Some people like myself, I pull back and then hit forward with the palms. So anything, everybody has their own different styles of play. 1 second. I'm now getting the comments I'm not seeing on Twitch and YouTube on my phone. All good. All right, there we go. And we are all good and back. So, hole 11 here, Winding Pines, hole 7. Actually, a really nice setup here. I just kind of took a 10.5 degree driver, pulled it a little bit to the B, hit it a little bit left of the 2, just played that wind. You got to be careful here because the 12-mile-an-hour wind, if you hit it too hard, it'll carry the green. Now, if you look at the trackball shot feedback meter, I only hit it 106, so I hit it really soft. I like the 10.5 degree versus the 3 wood there. It all depends on the type of equipment you're using. I'm using grabbers, so I'm just going to play it safe. Same thing with sparkling. Winding Pines and sparkling waters seem to be the main culprits of difficult setups today. Not ideal here. You're looking right at the trees. So what I'm going to do is another one of those holes, one of those shots I tried on Eagle Crest. I'm actually going to turn to the right of the green. I'm going to pull back to the C, and I'm going to hit it straight. Now it's going to hit the trees, and of course I got the full force of the trees, but the idea behind that is that you're playing against the wind and hopefully getting around those trees. Hopefully next game I can hit a more firm shot. I can hit a more firm shot to get that through those trees and actually on the green.
Ready at the tee. It's golfer 1.
Southern Oaks, again, thankfully the Southern Oaks holes have been very generous. Very simple look here, a high 3 wood, just pulling it to the right of the B and hitting it out to the left of the 2. Didn't get it out as far as I wanted, but still putting for a pretty simple eagle here. You gotta be careful because my trackball didn't go out at all. You gotta be careful of that upslope and the left because it is gonna slow your ball down a little bit, and of course, like you just saw, pull to the left. Auburn Glen, normally a difficult par 5, but again, we're just gonna do something. We're gonna go left 1, pull back to the C, hit it out a little bit to the A. You want to make sure you hit it firm though, so you can carry those sand bunkers, and then you've got a pretty good approach shot for eagle here.
Nice shot. Trying for eagle. Ready to tee it up. Golfer 1.
Moose Landing, a couple different options here. You can lay up here, but you're still fighting a lot of rock walls, and you got to have the perfect setup for club. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tee it high tee to the top right of the box. Now notice I didn't hit a full A1. I hit it in between the 1 and the 2 because there's this little tree that hopefully I can show you on the replay if you didn't see it the first time. that tree right there, you see how I barely got past it. So I'm not going all the way out to the A, kind of doing an A in between 1 and 2. And it's going to look a little difficult, but we're going to clear the 9.5 degree driver. I'm going to cut it around, so we should be able to just get it right over. Now I mishit that. I only went 136. I missed the trackball a little bit there. But that's why we do more than one playthrough of these, just so we can get all the kinks worked out for you. Now, I have to admit, these last 3 holes are where it is going to get a bit more difficult. You've got Pelican Grove, another Shady Acres hole, and then Pine Meadow. For those of you that played many years ago during Pelican Grove, this was probably the hole most notoriously known as a round killer, I'd say. So what I did here that seemed to work pretty well, I'm going to change it up a little bit, is I'm going to look at the green here. I'm going to tee it, high tee to the left box. I'm going to go back right one. Hit that flyby button. Notice how you've got some trees above you, but you should be okay. I'm going to pull back to the A, and I'm going to go straight out to the 1. Now, you want to hit it pretty hard because you're going to hit some trees. And I think I clipped a tree there. Barely clipped a tree. It did get out a little bit farther than I wanted to, but I avoided the early tree. So, yeah, clipped a tree, but still chipping in, hopefully for eagle. Nope. Kind of got 5 hybrid burned for the second time in this game, but that's okay. But the opportunity to chip in for eagle is there. I know it's not ideal. Neither is this hole 7 of Shady Acres. But if you've got that 10.5 degree driver in your bag, you should be okay. Now, I unfortunately went out a little bit farther than I wanted to. So just for the sake of this last 2 holes here, we're going to play it safe. And again, par is in the 30s, so even if you screw up here or there like I have and you take a couple of birdies instead of eagles, it's not the end of your round. It's just another reason for you to play a few more games, get better at the setup. And if you've never played the daily contest or the Freaky Friday before, same setup for 24 hours. So between now, which is 2:45 Central, you have a few more, about what? 10 hours left or 9.5 hours left to play this week's daily contest. So get out there, play as many times as you want, and the setup's never going to change. So you can learn new shots. Now, I should probably learn a new shot for hole 18 of Pine Meadow because it is pretty, it's a pretty good round killer for me. But even with the couple of birdies that we took and a couple of mishit shots here and there, still 25 after 18, which for a Freaky Friday round under some decently difficult looks, it's pretty reasonable. So let's play another round or two, see how this next one goes. Let's see if we can get you closer to 30 or 35 and get you up there on the board. I'm going to go to the Caddy app really quick, just take a look at the leaderboard for today's daily contest. Also, over $4,500 prize pool, and we're paying 300 spots. So, first place is $415, second is $311, third is $207, fourth is $125, and fifth is $100, and then it kind of goes down from there. But we're paying 300 spots. So even if you just go out and play 1 or 2 games with your buddies tonight, or your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend, husband, whoever you go out and play Golden Tee with, play 1 game, watch this stream, take all the good shots I hit them, take all the bad shots I hit, don't hit them, and you'll put together a pretty good round. And that's another reason why I like to show the Build-A-Bag that I have too, just because I use it enough where I can kind of show you guys consistency throughout the live streams of, you know, how to shape certain shots, etc. Pine Meadow, hole 2, our first Golden Tee Forward Master Course. So like I said before, I'm going to tee it all the way to that left corner of the box just to take those trees out of play. With the 3-wood, I'm going to hit bite, Just barely hit it to the left of the B and out to the left of the 2. Got a little bit more on it than I want, but still putting in for eagle. Ben, non-prize play states can play Freaky Fridays. If you go into the Caddy app, into Invitationals, we have a selection of Freaky Fridays, which, before you ask, we will be updating in the next couple weeks here to get some of our newer selections on there. So you can always go on there and create an invite with your buddies and play those Freaky Fridays, or at least a good selection of those from weeks and months past. Apologize to those on Twitch and YouTube. Still having some difficulties pulling up the comments in our streaming app, but that's okay because it's only Danny Boy and maybe a few others, so I just like to give them a hard time. Okay, so Smokey's 99 and Sean Perkins, sorry took so long to get to you guys on YouTube, but appreciate you joining us. Sean, if you go to home.goldentea.com and reach out to our sales team, they can talk to you about how you can get a home edition and all that kind of stuff. So just go to home.goldentea.com, talk to them, and Kelsey and Josh will help set you up. Now look what I did this time, which is exact opposite of the first game. So I got out a little bit farther on the tee shot, so I didn't have a straight look, but I took that 10.5 degree driver and cut it around those trees, which is so nice, and boom. Cody, thanks for chiming in there for Ben about the Freaky Friday thing. Hopefully you guys heard me mention it as well. Mystic Hills, hole 5 here. Thankfully, a lot easier of a setup than it was during the preview we did the other day. I'm going to just hit a 9.5 degree driver with backspin. Just go a little bit to the left of the B, a little bit left of the 2. Oh no. Okay, that's good. You got to be careful with this hole because if you hit a tree and then fall against those rocks, it can be pretty nasty. But thankfully, I caught the rough and then had the backspin. The one thing to think about is that this green is always flat. It's never going to have a left or right slope or a down slope. And that's why I didn't mind using backspin, because I'd much rather have a flat putt from 58 degrees versus a chip from the rough for birdie, eagle, or even par. Ben, if you go to the GT Caddy app, you can click on the daily contest and see the leaderboard there right now. I want to make sure that I didn't misunderstand your original comment. Bill, home edition owners can play for money, but not in the traditional sense that commercial units can at the bars and restaurants and arcades. So with the home edition, if you're in a prize play state, you can play invitational contests with your friends and buddies for money against each other. You never know what great ideas we're coming up with for the home edition when it comes to next year's update, and that's all I'll say about that. You can hit up Josh and Kelsey with those questions. Sorry, Ben. Now I understand what you're saying. You want to be able to play in the Freaky Friday as a non-prize play state participant. Not sure if that's in the works. It's a little bit more difficult than it sounds, but anything's possible when it comes to Golden Tee. So just stick around, and I'll pass the idea along to our team and see if we can maybe make that happen. All right. Hole 7, Eagle Crest, hole 8 typically. We tried the 3-wood setup. It did not work well, so we're going to do the 5-wood. Hit it, pull it back to the C, hit it out to the 2 there. Probably going to have the same effect, except now I'm going to be in the sand. A little bit of a difficult setup there. I got a couple of options. I'm just saving the best for last. If I knew how to chip, I wouldn't be standing here making videos about Golden Tee. I'd actually be out playing for money. And not having a job like this. But that's why I get to enjoy just playing and hanging out with you guys, and hopefully after the few rounds that we'll play together, hopefully you can get out to the bar with your buddies and use this stream as a way to kind of shape your own game in Freaky Friday and make a few less mistakes than I have. Richard King, Mark Tate, as always, thanks for joining, gentlemen. Richard King, thanks for all the hard work this past weekend in Wisconsin. Mark Tate, know you're going through a lot, my friend, so I appreciate you being here and hanging out and just having a good time. Hole 9, Pelican Grove Hill here. Unfortunately, not a drivable setup, so we're going to have to settle for just chipping away at Eagle. It's probably not the best word to use. Chipping away to get an Eagle. Basically, just take a 10.5-degree driver, high tee it, take those trees out of play. You're going to end up, if you have the 5 hybrid or the 5 iron, you're going to end up here. I got to play this a little bit softer than I normally would because I'm closer to the tee box, and we're putting in for Eagle. Now look at that. Made one mistake on that Eagle crest hole, and still shooting 17 after 9. Almost all Eagles, just one bad tee shot and a missed Eagle chip. But look at that, 17 after 9. There's not too many times you can say that. Freaky Friday contest is one of those opportunities. So hopefully we can put some stuff together here and actually keep this game going. Again, last time we used the 5 wood. We pulled it to the A and hit it straight, let the wind play into it. I'm going to club down to the 6 wood using the grabbers here. I'm going to pull it in between the AB and hit it a little bit to the left. Now I mishit that track ball, unfortunately. But that's the type of shot that you want to hit going into this hole. That's okay. Nothing wrong with a bad chip every once in a while. Hole 11, Winding Pines, same thing. We're going to go ahead. I use the 10.5-degree driver because I know I can soft it enough. You can use the 3 wood, but I would be a little concerned about these trees ahead of you. So I'm going to pull it back to the left of the B, hit it out to the left of the 2, and I'm just going to kind of cut the shot in with the wind. And just like that, you know, you're 5, 6, 7 feet away from the green putting in for Eagle. Hole 12, Sparkling Waters, another good friend of mine, unfortunately, that beat me down the last couple of games. So the idea here is to get around all these trees and try to come in for Eagle. 5 wood didn't work. We're going to try a low 3 wood now. Now, remember, I'm doing something a little crazy here. I'm not aiming right at the pin, of course not, because there's trees here. So I'm teeing it to the left. I'm putting it in the back left corner or the back middle part of the box. I'm going to low tee my 3 wood with backspin. I'm going to pull it out to the C, and I'm going to hit it a little bit out to the 2. Hopefully, that didn't work that time. That's all right. We'll just chip in for almost Eagle. I will eventually figure out how to tackle that hole. It is a more difficult setup. That would honestly be the only instance that I might consider putting the 0 hybrid in my bag. Almost consider doing that for that hole alone. Southern Oaks. Oh, come on, do it. Oh my gosh. What does a guy have to do to hit a hole in one in the live stream? Southern Oaks, just a high T 3 wood, a little bit to the right of the B, hit it out, the left of the 2, get pretty close there, or just, you know, right around the edge, like I always do in these live streams. Hole 14, Auburn Glen, par 5, a little bit on the long side, narrow fairway, a lot of sand. I'm going to tee it to the top right here. Make sure you select high tee. I'm going to put backspin on there. I'm going to click 1 to the left, and I'm going to basically hit an A1. This one showed up as an A1.5, but the point is you want to get it over those sand traps and then you've got a pretty smooth shot in for eagle, and maybe even a double eagle if you play your cards right. Now, one thing you want to make sure that you do is that you do not hit this shot short, because you will either get stuck in the rough or drop in the water, and the drop is not very friendly. So I want to make sure that you play that smart. Moose Landing here, hole 11, number 15 on our Freaky Friday. You can lay up at the spot, but you got to be very careful with your club set. So what I'm going to do, high tee it to that top right. I'm going to do an A1.5 because of this tree right here. I want to make sure that I don't get a full A and get it all the way out there, because you might clip those trees and then you're going to have some problems. So for this instance, I put roll on it. I hit it as hard as I could and got it in between the 1-2. Now, you're still hitting 320, 325, 330 to the pin, but you can, because I'm farther back in the box, I can clear that rock. Should have used backspin, but I'll take bite. And now a hole that I screwed up majorly last time, now putting in for an eagle, and now you're on 26 base. Now this is where it gets difficult if you're just joining us or we're not here for the first part of the stream. 16 and 17 and a little bit of 18, a little bit on the difficult side, so you got to be careful with those. But last time we did a 6-wood, high teed it, and was able to almost chip in for eagle. Try something different here. I'm going to actually look right at the pin, or as close as you can. I'm going to tee it all the way to the top left, high tee with backspin. I'm going to hit the 5-wood this time, just because it's going to get more distance, and if I hit the trees, I have a better chance of actually catching the green. So we're going to pull back all the way to the left, and then we're going to hit it straight. Now, unfortunately, I hit it way too hard because I was worried about hitting trees. So you're still chipping in for eagle.
Just a tapper here.
And, but no problems there. Still birdie on this hole is honestly, if you've ever played Pelican, you know that a birdie on this hole is absolutely okay. Shady, hole 7, not the worst setup here, not the best either. We're going to high tee a 3-wood. The main thing you want to do is you want to get it out away from those trees, but also still sticking the fairway so you have a good chance at cutting in a shot for eagle. This is one of those holes that if you take the option to just lay up like I did the first time and take the birdie, it's not the end of the world. Because we're live streaming and we're having some fun and trying some things, I'm going to take a 3 hybrid and I'm just going to go right after it. Now hopefully, exactly what happened. So I was able to get low enough with that 3 hybrid to get under the tree, and I had enough speed with the grabbers to kind of scooch past the green. So barely missed that tree, but I had enough momentum to catch the green, get some spin, and now we're putting in for another eagle. 29 after 17, going into hole 18 of Pine Meadow, which is actually hole 18 of Pine Meadow. Not the best setup in the world, but not the worst setup either. I hit a 5-wood last time and I hit it a little too hard. So we are going to high tee a 6-wood, the back left corner. I'm going to pull it a little bit to the right of the letter A. And hit it out in between the 1-2. Unfortunately, I hit it out a little bit too much to the 1, so it's going to get wet. But it's difficult with that 12-mile-an-hour wind to catch that green. Of course, I did it on my first game when nobody was around, and then I hit an awful shot to follow it up, so that's going to get wet as well. But that's the power of it being a Friday. We're going to play one more game. I actually might put that 0 hybrid in my bag really quick, just for some of those more difficult holes that are giving us some issues. So I'm going to set up, well, all right. I'm going to step away for just 1 minute so I can switch up my bag and switch up the graphics so everybody can actually see that I'm now switching over to the Zero Hybrid bag. Give me 1 second, and we'll be back here with the GT Players Championship Freaky Friday. All right, we are back. I'm going to get this switched up here. We are going to go with the Zero Hybrid bag. There we go. Robert, Golden Tee Mobile will be coming out probably in the summertime. Not exactly confirmed yet, but it's going to be in that Q2, Q3 area. Mike Corbin, 34, probably wins it. You know, it is pretty early. There's still 9 hours left to go. And with some of these top guys that play way more than they'll ever admit in these contests, you never know. Actually, 37 is in first right now with a handful of 36s. So it wouldn't surprise me with a $415 top prize and 9 hours left to go in this contest. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if some of these guys were able to pull out a 38 or a 39 under for this week's contest. All right, so I did change my club set to have a Zero Hybrid. I have sacrificed my G wedge, so hopefully I stay away from anything that requires that club. Still using grabbers though. Hopefully that Zero Hybrid, I think the more I play around with it in my head, is probably going to be the best option to tackle some of these some of those holes where you got to get under the trees, and hopefully we can actually do that. Also, if I could get a shot to fall into the cup in the live stream, that would actually be amazing. Last couple streams, I've had a lot of great shots, which I'm appreciative of, but there's just something about live streaming to a couple hundred different people and actually dropping something in the bottom of the cup. All right, Pine Meadow, hole 2, 3 wood. We're going to take a high tee, or not a high tee, excuse me. We're just going to use a gold tee. Go to the top left. We're leaving it on medium, but if you hit the flyby, you can see it eliminates the trees in front of you. A little bit out to the left of the B, a little bit out to the left of the 2, and just like that, you are 4 after 2.
Golfer 1 with an eagle.
Robert, there's a couple different options you could do to actually have a Golden Tee tournament at your restaurant. If you only have one machine at your restaurant, there's a couple different options. You could do closest to the pin contest. Actually, if you want to shoot me a message, I should be tagged on this, I think. If you want to reach out and shoot me a message, we can exchange emails and go from there. I could help you set up some stuff at your restaurant. Ryan, thankfully, I've already had this bag built with the Zero Hybrid. So it was just a matter of getting it switched out. Oh, that actually looks really nice. Can I? Oh, come on. Ugh. All right, I don't even care about that not dropping in. Auburn Glen, hole 4, has been a bane in my existence since it came out, 5-6 years ago. So the fact that I just got it on the green, almost aced it, kudos to me on that. Now, the one thing I have to make a mental note of is that I have the Zero Hybrid club now. So after a few games, I kind of get in the mindset of, okay, on this hole, I got to change my club a few times with XYZ. Now I have to double check and make sure that I don't have the Zero Hybrid selected when I meant for the 3 wood. Hole 5, same thing as before. You want to make sure you get this out as far as possible. So hit that, spinny C3 and get it out there. I put roll on it this time just to get it as far down that fairway as possible. Now I'm looking directly at it, so I do have to try to remember the fact that the first time on the live stream I hit the tree dead on. So I'm going to take my 10.5 degree driver, I'm going to pull it back to the right, and then I'm going to pull it, oh, stop. Okay, well, hey, you know what? I can't even complain that I just did that because, honestly, it takes a lot of skill to hit the pin like that, and the fact that I had backspin on, and it just barely went backwards, I'm A-okay with that. Now, hopefully my chip falls in for eagle. Whew! Shout out to the lob wedge for being rusty trusty. Mr. Wrestler, I appreciate the shout out there. It is a lot to try to get things going, just because every location has different players, has some places have 2 machines, others have 1. Operators sometimes will move machines around for tournaments and stuff. So there's never a one size fits all, but we definitely can help you set up something. Mystic, hole 5, number 6 on our Freaky Friday. Remember, this is a flat green, so you want to be anywhere on this green. You just want to avoid hitting the rock, because if you hit the rock, you're definitely going to smell what he's cooking, and he's most likely cooking water for you. So that's why I went with a 9.5 degree driver with backspin, because I know I can hit a couple the hill of rough a couple times and still get backspin, and then we'll be good to go. And just like that, we're 12 after 6. All right, so now this is where I take over, and all we do is win, like with Charlie Sheen, because I am so sick and tired of this hole beating me up here. Now, I'm not going to actually hit the Zero Hybrid. I'm going to high tee a 5 wood, and I'm going to pull it in between the B, C, and then hit it out to the 2. And hopefully get through those trees. Couldn't catch the green, actually caught a tree, but we're going to chip with the 5 hybrid. Accidentally hit that a little bit harder than I wanted. Okay, though, again, same thing. We did this last time. We still ended up with a good score, so I can't complain too much. You're not going to always, at least with the Kevin Lindsay school of trying to be a halfway decent Golden Tee player, not all these shots are going to be makeable for some of us. These guys that are basically Golden Tee pros that play a lot, they have a lot more tools at their arsenal in terms of the way they spin the trackball and crazy stuff they do. But That's why, you know, it's good to check out these tournaments, whether you go to them in person or check out the live stream. There's a lot you can do to watch these guys and see the magic that they put on, because it's honestly, after 9 years and knowing a lot of these guys, it's still unbelievable what these guys can do in high-profile situations. Robert, so the home edition is identical to the commercial unit, except there's no coin vault. And when it comes to what you can play, the home edition, you can play online and track your stats and play your buddies in invitational contests for money. But you can't go into live prize play contests or the Freaky Friday like you can at a traditional commercial establishment. But I'm not sure how many are on the live stream now, but you can go to the Golden Tee Home Edition owners group, and there's not one person in there that'll tell you it was a bad idea to get a home edition. I went out and bought a home edition before I actually started IT, and it depending on how you look at it, whether it's a fun piece for the weekends with your buddies or your family, or a way to keep yourselves from spending you know, money at the bars, or you just want to have fun, it's a really good piece to have. Hole 10, it's actually hole 12 of Southern Oaks, the only par 3 you're going to see in this contest. If you're looking at this going, wow, top right pin, 9 mile wind to my left, how am I going to get here? What we've been doing the last couple streams, and it's worked for the most part, is I'm going to pull back to the right corner of the A on the trackball on the deck here. I'm going to pull it out to the A and almost hit it straight. Now, last time I hit a 6 wood and I hit it too short. First time I hit a 5 wood, hit too far. So now I know, after a few games, I know to pull it back and I know to hit it a little bit harder. And that's exactly what I did there. I could have hit it a little bit harder, but I wanted to play it safe and be careful. That 6 wood is going to clear those trees, no problem. And you can tell by pulling it to the right of the letter A on the trackball deck, or on the deck there, and hitting it straight, I was able to play into the wind and avoid clipping those trees.
Let's watch the tee shot.
Hole 11, Winding Pine 7. I actually have been using the 10.5 degree driver here instead of the 3 wood, just because I don't feel comfortable with this tree. I've kind of just been spinning it in, but now that I have the Zero Hybrid, it's probably going to throw me all off. I'm going to actually use the Zero Hybrid. Didn't cut it as much, but once you put the Zero Hybrid in your bag, there's a couple of different plays you could have at certain holes. So always good. That's what's nice about these daily contests and the Freaky Fridays, is the setup is always going to be the same for that 24-hour period. So if you wanted to try out new clubs, new balls, whatever it is, you can do that relatively easily without too much trouble. Now this is a hole 12. It's actually hole 8 of Sparkling Waters. Has been literally a pain in my rear end all, all 48 minutes that we've been live streaming. That's why I put the Zero Hybrid in the bag. I low teed it. I'm going to try to get it around those trees, but also hit the green and potentially spin back for an eagle. So look at that. The difference between using a 3 wood and trying to hit it through the trees versus taking that Zero Hybrid, which I know I hit this a little bit too hard because I was still worried about those trees. But now I'm putting in for another eagle. I'm not chipping in for birdie and maybe missing it and putting in for par. So even if you get far in the green with that Zero Bird, you miss your long 40, 50 foot putt for eagle, you're still putting in for birdie, and it's pretty easy. All right, this was the one that we almost aced last time. 3 wood, high tee 3 wood, just right at it. Hit a little bit too far to the left this time, or excuse me, to the right. But again, still putting in for eagle. Now you got to be careful here. You gotta. I should have done it there. I was too quick to just put it in and worry about missing it. That is a hole where you want to hit left one, recenter yourself, and hit right one to see where the green slope changes. Auburn Glen, hole 12, hole 14 in this week's Freaky Friday. High teeing it to the top right, putting backspin on it, and hitting a full A1 after clicking left one. The main thing here is you want to clear those sand traps, take them out of play completely, and now you're going straight for the green for eagle, or even potentially a double eagle.
Get the blade. That's on the green. With an eagle attempt.
Let's check in with our friends on YouTube and Twitch. Matt Hines asks, Kevin, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know. The fact that I was able to actually say that without messing it up is impressive enough. Hole 15. We got a solid game going on here so far. This is Moose Landing, hole 11. It's par 5. Sometimes you can lay up here. I honestly, if you look at this, it's not a flat surface. You've got a lot of rock walls to contend with. So we are just going to high tee it to the top right corner of this box. We're going to tee it high. I'm going to put roll on it. I'm going to pull it all the way back to the A. Now, be careful of this tree right here, because if you do a full A1, you have a good chance of hitting that tree. So I'm going to do a full A and then hit in between the 1 and 2. And basically, I put roll on it because what I want to do is I want to get to the highest part of that fairway, looking dead straight at the pin. Now, it's 325, but don't be alarmed. The 9.5 degree driver is going to clear this. And we're just going to go right at the pin. We might have actually even make this. Oh, if that would hit the fringe, it was going in. You heard it here first. But got caught up on the rough in the fringe, and we still putted in 27 feet for eagle. So can't really complain too much when you're 28 under going into hole 16. Now this is where if you have a really good game going and you don't play often, or this is your best game, there is no shame in laying up and taking your birdie. Not an easy setup to lay up either, but you got to be careful because this setup is very easy to botch and hit the tree. So we're going to high tee a 6 wood to the left, go back to the original spot. I'm going to pull it all the way to the A. I'm going to hit it straight and hope that I don't catch any trees. That actually probably was the better shot I've hit. Still clipping a tree, but you're chipping hopefully for eagle. I did the 6 iron this time and just mishit it. But again, you're walking away with the birdie on a difficult setup. Same thing as before. The first time I went into the rough. With this one, we're just high teeing a 3 wood. We're not hitting anything crazy or hard. We're just kind of softing it. Get on there. Okay, we're good. You basically want to make sure you're on the fairway. If you're on the fairway, you're going to be good. Now, thankfully, I have the 0 hybrid. If you weren't watching before, I was far enough along the fairway where I was able to hit actually a really good shot with the 3 hybrid with backspin. Unfortunately, that shot's not going to work, but I do have the 0 hybrid, so we are going to try. We're going to use our trusty hybrid set. Oh, that might be a little too hot. Stop. Okay. Little too hot coming out there, but that should have gone. That was just a bad shot by me, but still putting in for birdie for 30 under. And there's no shame in going into hole 18, 30 under. All right, high tee, 6 wood, top left corner. There's a 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing left. Logan Bowman, shout out to you, my friend. I know you're going to say something about this, but good to see you. The 6 wood, if you've never tried to play the 6 wood into the wind, it's not the easiest club to work with. We are going to pull it all the way out to the A, and I'm going to hit it in between the 1-2 pretty hard. That is a good shot. I hope it stays on the green. Oh, just barely. Just hitting it a little bit too hard. But honestly, that's one of those cases where 16, 17, and 18 are going to challenge the way you think and the way you play. And if you get an eagle, they're definitely going to be well-earned eagles. But nothing wrong. Not too bad shots, but 2 missed eagle opportunities, 1 on hole 7 and then hole 10. And then 16, 17, 18 missed the eagle opportunity as well. So that's 5 strokes we left on the board there. That's a 36 under. And that was the 3rd live stream game, the 4th one I've played overall today. So whether you go out by yourself and play a few games after work tonight, you grab a couple buddies, you grab the husband, grab the wife, grab the kids, go to a bar, restaurant, arcade, whatever you do to play Golden Tee, get out there. We'll play one more game, see if we can get that illustrious 36 under, and then it's up to you guys. You have basically 8.5 hours at this point. It's 3:30 Central Time. You've got 3.5 hours to get out there to your local watering hole. Get out there, play as many games as you want. Play the shots that you see me make here. When I hit terrible shots, don't hit those terrible shots. Definitely not what I wanted to see to start off the stream. But we'll just put some release on it and everything will be happy.
I think it's going to be short. Eagle pop.
All right. Pine Meadow, hole 2. You want to look directly at the pin, high tee to the top left corner. Excuse me, not high tee, medium tee. You want to then take the flyby button, just hold that down, and you can see where you're basically using that tee to help avoid the trees. Kind of crushed that one a little bit harder than I wanted, but still putting for eagle. And the first couple holes are pretty straightforward. As long as you follow what I'm doing here, this is Auburn Glen hole 4, which is hole 3 in our Freaky Friday today, is honestly going to be your toughest challenge in the first set of holes. So you're going to want to high tee a 10.5 degree driver in the corner, and you're going to pull it. I pull it a little bit to the B and hit it out a little bit right of the 2. It really just depends on your play style. That one has a good line, but not going in. Now notice how I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it firm, but I'm not really getting past the 130 mark. So the first time I did that shot last game, I want to say it was 124, 125, 129 that time. Because I'm teeing that 10.5 degree driver club up, you want to make sure that you don't overhit it, because then you're chipping from the sand. This might actually go in. Oh, shotties? Oh, come on. 6 foot, no shotties. Even though it's a par 4, a drivable par 4 from Shady Acres, still pretty straightforward look. Not hard to get eagle on that hole. Hole 5 is sparkling. We're just going to click one to the right. We're going to put roll on it. High T, spinny, C3, excuse me. You want to get it out as far as you can, because the closer you are to this green, the better. Yeah, so look at that, 261. Now you got to play, you got these trees in play, so I'm just going to go with my 10.5 degree driver. I'm going to pull it out to the right of the B, hit it out to the right of the 2. I'm just trying to get it on the green here and putt for eagle. Even though that's a little bit of a longer shot, you gotta play the advantage. You gotta the plus and minus. Yes, I'm gonna have a longer putt, which actually only ended up being 27 feet. Is the positive? Is could be a negative, but you also have to think about the fact if you mishit that ball going towards the green, you're chipping in, and it's not the best of chip coming out of the sand. Ryan, I do have to agree that a cold beverage does usually help the Golden Tee game for most players. Mystic Hills, hole 4, pretty, oh no. Oh, that might go in. Oh, okay, so I was a little concerned there. We went from almost going in the water, almost acing the hole. Okay, so I hit the hill so hard and it clipped a tree that it hit the rock, nearly went in for a shot of the week, and thankfully we're still putting in for eagle. Now that's why I mentioned before, I use the 9.5 degree driver with backspin because it's a flat green. You want to make sure you don't hit the rock. That was the most generous bounce I've seen from that rock in a long time. So just be careful there. Hole 7, which is actually hole 8 of Eagle Crest, we are using the 3 hybrid. We are just going to go C3 on there. At this point, I just want to get on the green. Almost got there. We're putting, but for this, we're just going to chip right into the cup. My trusted, rusty, trusty 5 hybrid. Now, I hit that a lot softer than before because I've gotten burned on that hole a few times. But 7 holes in, 7 eagles. Hopefully going for the 8th one right now on hole 9 of Moose Landing. Hopefully it sets up dead straight. Look at that. So the nice thing is we're set up dead straight to the hole. It's a down 8 slope, but if you click left one, you see that it changes. It goes right, and then you see that it stays down when you click right. So you know it's going to have a slight, very, very slight right slope. So we can play that to our advantage. Not going to drop in the cup, but hopefully stop for great shot points. So even though it says down 8, especially with these longer shots, you always have to play it safe. Hit that left button, hit that right button, check those green slopes. It's not going to change your game completely, but it could really help you out. Pelican, hole 9, not drivable this time, but we're just going to tee a 10.5 degree driver. You want to just blast it right over those trees. Don't worry about getting in the rough or the fair. You know, wherever you end up is going to be okay. This time I got that 8 wood, but we're just going to go at it with the 5 hybrid. Hope for the best because we're coming out of the rough. You're going to lose some spin. And just like that, almost shot points. That was a lot closer than I expected. Without any fancy shots, nothing too crazy. And look at that. 9 holes, 9 eagles, 18 under. Nothing better than that. We should actually take a picture of this because it might not look as glorious on the back end. Hole 10, originally Southern Oaks. Hole 12, the only par 3 you're going to see in this contest. First time I used a 5 wood. Second couple times I've used a 6 wood. I think we've got it in place now. If you look at this hole and you're saying, how in the heck am I going to attack a top right pin with a left 9-mile-an-hour wind? So what I've done the last couple times is pulled the trackball back in between the AB and hit it straight pretty hard. Could have probably hit that a little bit harder. Hopefully it stays on the green. Okay, so the idea is that you're playing into that wind. The problem is I hit it too soft that I didn't end up, or soft enough that I didn't hit it on the sand, but hard enough I just barely got in the fringe. So one mistake there, followed by another because I'm awful when I get upset at Golden Tee. So now that we have the 0 hybrid in our bag, this is especially one of the holes that you want to tackle with. So I hit it softer this time. Basically want to just hit that rough a few times, catch the green with backspin, and then boom, you're putting in for eagle. What is this? Southern Oaks, hole 14, number 13. Almost aced this earlier. We're going to try it again for our last game. Just a little bit too far to the right. But if you take a look at these live streams later when you're out and playing, you can see where my shots lacked when in terms of going, how far left does he hit it? How far right does he pull it back? If you use those, you know, the live streams are going to be up after it's over. Use those to your advantage when you're out at the bar with your buddies. Auburn Glen, hole 12, just a big C, or excuse me, a big A1.5. You want to just basically clear those sand traps, and then basically what you do after that is up to you. Just be careful because that is a nasty drop if you somehow end up in the water on this hole. Number 11 from Moose Landing. Unfortunately, don't really have a good option to lay up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to high tee a driver, top right position. We're going to put roll on it. You want to make sure that you do not hit a full A1 here, because if you hit a full A1, there's a chance you might hit that tree. So we are just basically hitting an A1.5. Want to make sure you got roll on it. Didn't get it as hard as I wanted to, so this is not going to be, this will be a little bit difficult, nothing crazy. Actually missed the trackball and barely caught it with my palm, but that's why you want to make sure that you're using roll on that hole, and you want to make sure you get it out and hit as hard as you can. Thankfully, we were able to play that one safe and still make it. Now, I am going to try something just for fun. I know we've seen this shot before years and years ago. I'm going to hit a low zero bird just to see if I'd even recommend the shot. So, it's not awful. I mean, you're still chipping in, or trying to chip in for eagle. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a lot better than catching the trees and getting wet. That's the thing with holes 16, 17, and 18. You know, taking a birdie on these difficult closing holes is not the end of the world. But with hole 17, Shady Acre 7, you want to absolutely make sure that you catch the fringe, because it's going to be a difficult shot for you otherwise. Now that one thankfully caught the green enough that hopefully we should be able to just chip it in. If I actually knew how to chip, that would be great. Alright, hole 18, which is actually hole 18 at Pine Meadow, we are going to go bottom left corner of the box, high tee a 6-wood. I'm pulling it all the way out to the A, hitting it in between the 1-2. Actually, that time I kind of went, yeah, I hit it a lot softer than previously, and now we're on the green putting it in for eagle. With those down slopes like this, they're pretty crazy. You got a good chance of rolling over. Pull the trackball to the C to slow the roller a little bit, and then dead center of the cup. Really disappointed that I missed a few shots there. Hole 10 especially, shouldn't have missed that birdie there, but 18 after the front 9, 31 after the last, after all 18 holes, 3 birdies, 1 par. Look at that. I mean, you're only missing a few strokes there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're looking at 35. Nothing wrong there, even with a 31. You have a little under 8.5 hours till 12 Central. Once Saturday morning rolls, about the clock strikes 12 and it becomes Saturday. No more daily contest Freaky Friday. Actually, I think you might even still have an extra hour because of daylight savings time. So you technically have 9.5 hours. Get out there, play as many games as you want, play as many times as you want with your buddies, whoever you play Golden Tee with. Watch the archive of these streams, which will be up on YouTube and Facebook here in a little bit, and Twitch. See the shots that I made that fared well. Try to mimic those, the way and the style you play as much as you can, and where you've seen me fail, adjust your shot to end up better, and you never know, you might have your personal best at Golden Tee. So, from the Golden Tee Lounge, happy Friday, happy St. Paddy's Day on Sunday. Please, as always, be careful and be smart when you're out celebrating. Make sure to continue to send your shots for Shots of the Week, and we might be doing some cool giveaways this weekend around St. Patrick's Day. So be sure to stay tuned to Golden Tee on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll see you next time.